Welcome back to Coffee and Conversation. So for all you Audie fans, he is here in the living room with me. He is sleeping behind his third favorite chair. It's dark, it's on the floor, because a cat had another bad day. It was very warm today, not like excruciatingly hot like it's been, but it did go up into the 80s, and it rained both at the same time. And that's just too much for a poor little cat to handle. So he was not happy. He does not understand why I am not more sympathetic, why I am not turning on the bathroom faucet for him, giving him extra treats, all the other little things he depends upon when life isn't going his way. But he has been out crawling into my lap fairly often, so we may well see him as I film this. We'll have to wait and see. But yes, it was a tough day for a little cat. All right, we're going to take a quick break for the intro, and we'll be right back. So, I thought we would talk about cleaning. Tips, tricks, techniques that work for me. And the reason behind this is I have been on a cleaning binge lately. Everything else is just going on the back burner so that I can do some cleaning. And it is much needed cleaning. And I'm going to share with you why, because let's face it, we've been together in this adventure for 7 years. If I can't share it with you, who can I share it with? As you all know, I'm sure, I am blind. I read and write Braille. I have a white cane. I do have some residual vision, but it's not a lot. On the other hand, this has been my normal since I was 4 years old. So it's like, I'm okay with this. You know, it's sometimes I think about what it must be like for sighted people to take in all that visual information and try to process it. And frankly, I don't know how you do it. If someone could just snap their fingers and turn me into a sighted person, I would probably have a cerebral hemorrhage. I don't know how I could cope with that. It would be information overload for me. So, having said that, recently the vision in my right eye has been dropping. And I'm used to thinking of my right eye as my good eye, you know, the one I see out of, because that's the eye that I focus with. The truth is the left eye is better. Problem is without the right eye to focus, the left eye just, I don't know what it does, but it's not doing me any good. So I had surgery recently to clear up the vision in my right eye, which was partially successful. There was a very serious improvement. This is great. But the problem is, you know, it's like they give with one hand, they take with the other. The problem is I still have vision in only half that eye. So it's like somewhere right about here. From there down, nothing. From here up, better than it was before. But here's the funny part. Of course, I come home, I can see, and suddenly I realized I have been living in a pigsty for way too long because I had no concept of how dirty things were getting because I couldn't see. And because I do have residual vision, I'm very used to relying on it. And when it proved unreliable, my brain didn't quite catch up with that reality. So I've been cleaning like a maniac. So I thought I would share that with you because, frankly, I find it amusing. I look at this and think, ooh, you know, look at everything I wasn't seeing. Cobwebs, I was not seeing those. It's like, why was I not seeing them? Because they were 3 feet away from my nose. And that's well outside my range of useful vision. So yeah, I've had to do some cleaning. But on top of everything else, I do have a lot of very blind specific cleaning techniques I could use, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about overall cleaning tips, tricks, techniques, 3 T's of cleaning, so to speak, because I have been forced to deal with this. And for me, the biggest stumbling block in cleaning is I get distracted so easily. So I will start cleaning the living room, and, I have a bookcase behind me. And then I will just say, but I have to sort out the bookcase. So I will start with a marginally clean living room to begin with. And 2 hours later, I have stacks of books everywhere. It looks worse than it did before I started. I'm surrounded by a mess of books because I have distracted myself with a job that probably needed to get done sooner or later anyway, but it didn't need to get done at that moment. I was supposed to be vacuuming. I was not supposed to be rearranging the furniture or cleaning out the bookcase or whatever else it was. And that's my biggest stumbling block. I will get wrapped up in the minutia. Just, I need to deal with this. I'll go into the bedroom. And instead of cleaning the bedroom, I decide I'm going to rearrange the closet, or I'm going to empty out all the drawers, or something like that. I can be my own worst enemy. But I do have some techniques that make this easier for me, and I think they'll probably make it easier for you as well. And the first is a sort of cleaning philosophy. And this is an old one. This is one that was, I believe, first introduced in the Victorian era when they did household management books, how to keep your house clean. And interestingly enough, these books were not necessarily for the lady of the house. They were very often for the lady of the house to instruct her cleaning servants. Because, everybody had maids in those days. Oh my, what life was like back then. Now, even going back to the middle of the 19th century, there were books and theories on how to clean a home. In fact, Beaton's Book of Household Management, I think, is one of the best known. However, Harriet Beecher Stowe, the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin, wrote a very influential book. I'll print the name up for you because it was fashionable in those days to have a book title that ran on for half a paragraph, but I will print it for you. And hers was all about theories on how to create and maintain a scientifically engineered, healthy Christian home. It was that sort of thing. So we've had this as, something of a science. I'm not going to pretend this was domestic engineering as we understand it today, but it was a start. So the theory on how to approach cleaning is old, and it makes sense. So here's the general rule. You start cleaning from top to bottom and move from left to right. Now, the top to bottom part makes sense because obviously if you are dusting the light fixtures or the curtain balances, whatever, things that are high up in your home, you're sifting dust down into the lower areas. So it's like the last thing you're going to do is clean the floors because that's where all the dust has settled. That makes sense. The left to right, not so much. First of all, it presumes that everyone is right-handed because cleaning from left to right is intuitive for right-handed people, and we're not all right-handed, but it doesn't necessarily make sense in every given situation. So for me, if I started cleaning my living room, left to right works out well. But if I clean my bedroom, because of the way the furniture is placed and the door is located, cleaning right to left makes more sense. So I would say the takeaway from this is, yeah, in general, start from the top, work your way down, start on one side of the room or in one corner, and work your way out to the rest of the room. It's not the only way to do it. There are other theories that involve starting at, say, the center of the room and working out in ever-increasing spirals. That works for some people, and if that's a technique that works for you, jump on it, go for it, because we don't all live in the same house. We don't all have the same considerations. And as I say, some of us are left-handed, so working left to right is not going to be the easiest or most convenient way to do it. But that is one that I wanted to share with you as sort of an overriding principle. That's a theory that you are going to find in virtually all of these household cleaning books, particularly the older ones. These days, we have to be mindful of the fact that if somebody wants to put a new book on household cleaning on the market, well, books on household cleaning go back to Harriet Beecher Stowe, for heaven's sake. Oh, and probably well before her. But you have to come up with something new, some new trendy technique. And not all of them are good. Many of them are simply new and different. What they have going for them is that difference, not that it's a tried and true technique. Top to bottom, left to right, yeah, tried and true. Because at this point, well, Stowe would have been, oh Lord, we're talking close to 200 years. So I think what we need to be mindful of is that approaching it with some sort of global framework. I am going to clean the room instead of just standing in the middle of the room saying, I have no idea where to begin. It gives us a starting point, and it gives us a finishing point. But there are many other techniques. So let me share one of mine that works very well for me. I keep a cleaning caddy. It's a little plastic caddy. It's small. You know, it's one of those things that is about the general size and shape of an old-fashioned shoe shine box, and it has a handle. Mine is made of plastic. It's, my goodness, it's pretty beat up at this point. I've probably had it for 20 or 30 years. And who knows, maybe it's about time I got another one. But what I keep in that cleaning caddy are household cleaning products that I will take all around the house. So, things that do not go in there are things like scrubbing powders, Ajax, Comet, Bon-Ami, whatever it is, Barkeeper's Friend, whatever it is you might use to just scrub out the sink. That'll stay in the kitchen. So it doesn't need to go into the cleaning caddy because I'm not going to use that in the bedroom. My stove black, I mentioned before, I have stove black because I have an old stove. That stays in the kitchen. No need for me to drag that around. The stuff that gets dragged around are things like the glass cleaner. That's that vinegar and dishwashing liquid and water mess I keep in a little spray bottle. That gets used everywhere in the house. Bang, in the cleaning caddy. All kinds of furniture polishes. And when I talked about making your own cleaning chemicals, I said you'll save money on it. You can use that money for special purpose cleaners. Yeah, I do like furniture waxes and furniture polishes, but I don't like, end dust and things like that. I like the more traditional ones like Old English furniture polish. that goes into the caddy too, because everywhere I go in my home, I'm going to find wood furniture. Even in the kitchen, not in the bathroom. I don't think I have any wood furniture in the bathroom. I hope I don't. It's a stupid place to keep wood furniture. But everywhere else, yes, I'm going to need that. I am going to need dust cloths. I am going to need, what else do I keep in there? Oh yes, my cleaning chemicals. I also have some special purpose chemicals, like a Rain-X. I've tried it. It works okay. When I run out of it, I'm probably not going to buy it again. But it's something that keeps your bathroom mirrors from fogging. And if you put Rain-X on your shower door, the water beads up and just, beads up and goes away and doesn't leave a mess behind. Again, that's one of those things that, yeah, it does what it's supposed to do, but I don't think it's saving me enough time and effort to justify the place it keeps in my cleaning caddy. But the purpose of this is so that I can just grab the cleaning caddy and take it with me, so that I'm not going in to the bedroom, for example, and looking around saying, well, I want to clean the window, so I go back to the kitchen to get the window cleaner, and then I come back out and say, well, I want to dust, so I'm going to go back and get a dust rag. And no, it all goes with me, and it's portable. Now, I have a special purpose cleaning caddy. Now, in years past, before I got this thing, it was everything from an old children's Easter basket. I swear, at one point, it was a children's Easter basket. It was yellow and green and had bows on it. Anything that I could load up with cleaning supplies and take into another room. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but being able to take the things with you will save you a lot of running back and forth. And I think that is a fairly good tip. Others, it's a good idea to declutter and move objects out of the room wherever they need to go. Take them where they need to go, throw them away, but a bit of decluttering. If nothing else, you're going to want to pick up whatever is trash and needs to be thrown away before you start any genuine cleaning. There's very little point in hauling out the vacuum, starting to vacuum your rugs if you haven't picked up, the stuff that goes in the trash. And I find that this is where a lot of people this is where they get sort of stumbled as they start cleaning. They look at something and say, oh, I have to vacuum the carpet. Go into the room, and that's when they notice that some picking up needs to be done as well. A lot of people have a technique. I do not use this personally, but I know a lot of people who do it, and it works for them, is they will keep some sort of basket or container wherever they are. There'll be one for the living room, one for the kitchen, one for the dining room, and anything that doesn't belong in that room gets loaded into the basket. And then you leave the room, you pick up the basket, and you start bringing things where they need to go. That works for a lot of people. I have, oh gosh, here, I should probably show this to you. Mints. Just open so you can see. These are mints in a little tin with a little lid. And this is an attached lid. When I am, here, I have another one right here, because I have these all over the place. When the mints are gone, I will store little odds and ends. In this case, I've got a couple of small remotes in here, so that I am not overwhelmed by a whole bunch of little itty-bitty stuff. It's in here, I know where it is. sometimes. Here's another one. See, I'm right next to my desk, and my desk is where I keep most of these. This one doesn't have an attached lid. The lid comes off. This is where I keep my thumb drives, and I got a boatload of them. Prior to keeping them in a little container like this, I never knew where they were. I would need a thumb drive. I would have to trash through drawers. I didn't have a designated spot. So the point of this is I have small tins that are designated spots for small items that are necessary. I mean, if you use a computer, you're going to use thumb drives. They're necessary, but they're very easy to lose and misplace. I have more tins than you could imagine. Well, remember, my motto is, it's not hoarding if you keep it in a pretty box. This one has an old-fashioned camera on it. Isn't that cute? See, I'm not hoarding flash drives. And actually, because, I make videos, so I work on a computer all the time, I truly do need those flash drives. Therefore, it's not really hoarding. And the box is pretty, so it's not hoarding. That's one of the things that has been very helpful to me, and it's not just tins. Things like pens, pencils. Do I have? Yes, I do. I have, these little box cutters, mostly because I deal with a lot of packages. I also have coffee mugs that people have given me over the years, and they're gifts. They have great sentimental value. They are attractive, but even I can't drink more than one mug of coffee at a time. So am I going to be using them? No. They're going to be staying in a cabinet. And yeah, I might be able to pull them out, rotate them, but I'm too lazy for that, frankly. So I take these coffee mugs and I will use them as pencil cups, and wallpaper knife cups and whatever. And I will stick stuff in them and use them to store small items as well. Again, deals with the clutter. That is one of my favorite little, decluttering techniques. Oh, let me tell you one of these, because I should probably give you one of these. Let me give you a blind cleaning technique. If you don't read and write print, papers can be overwhelming. They really can. It's like stuff, and it comes to you all the time, and I know because it comes to me all the time. And I get this stuff, and I can't read it. I don't really want to read it. My theory is if somebody really wants to convey information to me, I have an email address, and the computer is the great leveler, because my computers can convert that email into a large print document. They can convert it text into speech. I can even get it to print out in Braille. So there's no excuse for anybody trying to send me paperwork, but they do it all the time. So let me give you this one, and this is one that was shared with me many, many, many years ago. When a piece of paper comes in the mail, either deal with it. It's like if it's a bill, write them a check. File it. This could be something important that you might need to keep, and most of the time it is not. Filing it is one of the rare categories of print information you get, but it does come, and there are things you do need to save. And let me just... External hard drive. This is 1 terabyte. These things are really cheap now. I think this was about $50, and I keep a lot of these. This one holds my YouTube videos. I have 7 years worth of YouTube videos, so I've already filled one of these up. I'm working on my second. But even though YouTube keeps copies, I want to keep my own copies. So yeah, it's something that I will simply hang on to. But if I have paperwork that I need to keep, I don't need to keep the papers. Remember, I hate paper. I hate paper. I will scan it, transfer it to a file, and where are we here? This is yet another external hard drive. And this is the one that I will use to keep files on. Very, very easy to manage that keep section of your paperwork minus the papers. So you either deal with it, you file it, and I do it electronically, but again, external drives, because I have lost records from computers just crashing out and becoming unrecoverable. So yeah, I'll keep it somewhere else safe. Or third category, throw it away. Throw it away quickly. Don't let the paperwork pile up. Now, this is good advice for anyone, but it's one of those things that was particularly important for people with visual impairments because, like I said, papers are our enemy. We don't cope well with papers, so we need techniques for dealing with it. And between, scanning and filing it on computer and, throwing away the other stuff, but responding, if it's a bill, just write the check. No one says you have to put it in the mail today if that's the issue, but just get it off your plate quickly. Whatever it is, if they need it to be dealt with, deal with it on the spot. Because if you don't, you're going to end up hoarding papers. I know because I do it. I don't like dealing with the paperwork, and I keep saying, I'll go through it later, and I'm never going to go through it because I can't read it. So, it's like, what's the point? Most of the time when stuff comes in, I get rid of it. And then if somebody says, did you get XYZ? I will say, well, no, I didn't. Can you please email it to me? And 9 times out of 10, they could do that. So that was one of the blind techniques that I found it very, very beneficial. Mostly because, like I say, I hate the papers. And I really do. It's just, I used to try to cope with it. But I am at a point in my life where my response is no. Actually, it's worse than no. My response is usually, you are the sighted person. I am the blind person. Why do I need to accommodate you? I'm the one with the disability. By the way, that's a great argument. It gets them every time. So, yes, there are ways of dealing with things, but I've just passed on a few tips and techniques, and we could talk about this all day, all night, all week. So I wanted to leave you with those because, as I say, it's what's on my mind because I'm occupied with cleaning now. I am distracting myself. I am starting to clean, finding something, and then going down that rabbit hole. Oh, I've got to straighten out the bookcase. I have to watch that. But I am making progress. So the tips and tricks are working for me. All right, that is what I have for you today. Saving little tins like this. Also shoe boxes. I save shoe boxes to accommodate odd little bits of stuff that you just don't have any place to put them, but they need to go somewhere. Consider shoe boxes. Some of them can be very attractive. And remember, it's not hoarding if you keep it in a pretty box. Okay, that is what I have for you today. Thank you for being with us. Audie did not make an appearance. I'm a little surprised. because he has been out crawling all over me looking for extra attention. But I imagine we'll see him next time. So we're going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. I hope to see you all again next time. And in the meanwhile, have a terrific day.